I'm Jessica Stutzman, and this is the Millcreek Government Channel. Today, we are joined by Presque Isle Lifeguard Manager Steve Dunsmore. In today's show, we'll be touching on what it takes to become a lifeguard, providing supervision and aid to those in need at our local beaches. Steve, thanks so much for joining me here again today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, I can't believe we're gearing up for the summer season already, although I'm very much looking forward to it. We had a mild winter, and
Yes.
I'm ready to shift my focus now. So
certainly.
And I know you're gearing up as well.
Yes.
We're already starting to think about hiring and putting that time and effort into training your staff. So what I wanted to ask was, how many lifeguards does the park currently have?
So currently there are 55 Presque Isle lifeguards, and that consists of 3 Lake Erie lifeguard managers, 12 supervisors, and then we have 40 Lake Erie lifeguards.
And then how many positions are you looking to fill this upcoming summer?
We're looking to fill approximately 15 positions. We're looking for individuals who are male or female, 16 years of age or older. They need to be a strong swimmer, and it's helpful if they have a competitive swimming background, but we're really looking for that athletic background. We have individuals on staff that are soccer players and volleyball players, or they're on the track team, cross-country team. So athletic individuals for sure.
And the main duties of being a lifeguard, I mean, obviously, again, we think of, like I just mentioned, prevention, providing aid. What do you see on your side?
So our philosophy at Presque Isle is prevention. The guard's main responsibility is to educate the public on the rules and regulations that are set forth by DCNR, but their other responsibility is to prevent the public from getting into trouble, preventing that actual accidental drowning, but they also respond to first aid on the park, first aid on the beaches. They're really, a public ambassador for not just Presque Isle, but for the entire Erie region. So the guards do a lot as far as not just lifeguarding, not just first aid, but just educating and communicating with the public. There's a lot of times that people come to Presque Isle, especially in the middle of July, just for the beaches. And the only staff member that the public may come in contact with that day is a lifeguard. So the lifeguards, they do a lot of things on the beaches besides just lifeguarding.
And the one thing I wanted to mention, with only 15 lifeguard positions to fill, and I know what a tight-knit crew you have, I feel like this is a really highly coveted position.
Yes, this is a very good summer job for someone that is a high school student, someone that is a college student, or someone that just has availability, up to 40 hours a week, that is looking for additional income.
And going back to Lake Erie, lifeguarding at Presque Isle on Lake Erie is way different than a swimming pool, something that has predictable conditions. Can we talk about why Lake Erie is so dangerous for those who are not aware of what can pop up suddenly?
Sure. Lake Erie is the shallowest of the 5 Great Lakes system. It doesn't take much wind to produce a current. It doesn't take much wind to produce a wave. Without qualified supervision and a qualified individual lifeguarding the public and ensuring that the public is in the safest areas to swim, it can be deadly for some people. With all the crowds that we get and the large number of visitors to Presque Isle, we do our best to set the public up for success with enjoyment, but also keeping their safety in mind is number one.
And I know, again, being local, I know that we know currents can pop up, but that's not just something for the ocean, something that can happen in the ocean. It can happen in our lake.
Yes, yeah. Just a fun fact: Lake Erie has so many shipwrecks because of how dangerous it can be. Again, it doesn't take much wind to kick up a current, to kick up a wave action, and people do kind of have their guard down, where they say, "Oh, I'm not in the ocean." Anytime you're around any body of water, whether it's Lake Erie, whether it's a pond in the county, or a local stream, anytime you're around water, it can be dangerous. It's important to have quality and appropriate professional supervision when people are around water.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a little one, and my favorite beach is Beach 8. I love the lifeguard shack there, and but I put my stuff right next to the lifeguard shack because sometimes it's just me and it's just my daughter, my little girl, and I love having the thought of like, okay, if she starts choking, or maybe if I have an issue, I have somebody close by that I know can help me. So
yes, it's a great mentality and philosophy to have when visiting Presque Isle.
Yeah, they're there to help. So, okay, we did talk about the qualifications a little bit. So 16 years or older, you said, mature, responsible, athletic. What other prerequisites do they have?
So, like I said, you don't necessarily have to have a competitive swimming background to be a Presque Isle lifeguard. It will help you. But we have a whole skill set of qualifications that people have to pass. The three biggest ones are if you can swim 2 laps of the pool, which is 50 yards, in under 32 seconds. That's one that the candidates will have to meet. The second one is swimming 22 laps, which is 550 yards, and that has to be accomplished in under 9 minutes and 39 seconds. And the third skill set that these individuals would need to have is treading water with a 10-pound brick for 2 minutes with hands on each side of the brick. If you have an egg beater kick, that will assist you in completing that skill or that station much easier, but it can be done with a scissor kick. With an egg beater kick, you don't exert as much energy versus a scissor kick.
Okay.
But if a candidate can meet those 3 criterias, I'm pretty confident myself and the other lifeguard managers can work with the individual and get them to where they need to be.
And you have such experience leading these lifeguards, managing these lifeguards. I'm gonna stray here, but can you talk about your background as being the lifeguard manager and how long you've been doing it, and again what you can instill and what you can teach for those who become applicants and who join your team?
Sure. So when I was 16, I needed a summer job, and I went to Presque Isle and became a lifeguard, and here we are 2024, and I'm in my mid-40s, and now I'm one of the individuals running the program. The job teaches you a lot. It teaches you to be mature, to be responsible, to be held accountable, that you are in the public eye, that you are responsible for people's safety. It teaches you a lot of life lessons as a young adult. I wouldn't do it if I still didn't enjoy it, but it prepares you for life. It prepares you for your internship. It prepares you for that first job out of college. It really does teach you life lessons, and you don't even realize it at the time. It's a good paying job. We train the guards, we give them a lot of additional education, and in reality, people will tell you, people that have gone on to be nurses and firefighters and policemen or lawyers, they come back to us every summer and they say, this is the best job I ever had. I'd do anything to have one more day on the beach. You'll make lifelong friends, and you'll carry those friendships on for decades. It's a coveted job in Erie. There's only so many positions available, and we're a tight-knit group where we spend 40 plus hours a week together. We train together. We work out together. We see some things that not everybody should see. But we do see a lot of people truly enjoying the park and enjoying what the Erie area has to offer. And that's very rewarding in itself.
Yeah, and you've built a lot of camaraderie, and they're there for each other. They have each other's back. That's fantastic.
At the end of the day, you always have those school rivalries at the high school and collegiate level. And when you become a Presque Isle lifeguard, you forget about your season, you forget about the rivalry. We're one, we're a team. And it doesn't matter which school you went to or where you graduated from. At the end of the day, everybody puts on the same uniform, and it says Presque Isle Lifeguard on the front, and we're one big team that support and we push each other and we're there for each other. So it's a really, really good opportunity for any young adults and adults in the area.
And they can be proud. They can be proud to wear, that logo and that uniform. So when and how to apply for this position, because it is through the state.
Correct. So now is the time to apply. You want to be applying now. It can be a timely process. The application would take about 45 minutes to an hour. It's online. It's www.employment.pa.gov. In the upper right-hand corner of the webpage, will be a search engine. Anybody that's interested, make sure you type in Lake Erie Lifeguard. They can also call us at 814-833-0526. I would be happy to sit down and help assist anyone walking them through that application process. But there's several steps involved. So if someone is interested or is even kind of on the fence, my number one recommendation would be give us a call. I'd be happy to sit down or talk with anybody. Apply, because it can take a good 6, 8, almost 10 weeks for everything once it's all said and done. And we're basically at that time now.
Yeah. And what was the starting pay?
So a first-year guard this year will make $17.70 per hour. They'll be scheduled up to 40 hours a week. Some of our more seasoned guards, that it's not uncommon for them to make $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a summer.
Wow.
So if there's a young adult that's 16, 17, 18, and they're looking for a summer job that pays well, that can offer them 40 hours a week, that is looking for the money, this might be something really to consider. If you when you're hired and you continuously come back to us, there's a gradual increase with the hourly pay. So, someone that guards for us 6, 7 summers, I mean, it's not uncommon for them when their career's done, they're looking at $60,000, $70,000 as, over the course of their career as a high school into college, maybe even into graduate school. It's a really good paying job.
Wow, that would be so fantastic to be able to pay for college with your summers on Presque Isle, and that is absolutely fantastic. So what I want to touch on next is, what is your typical day? What time do you start? How does, what does your schedule play out?
So our typical day for first year guards, they'll report by 11, and we'll spend the first 45 minutes on training. Typically, we'll break that 45 minutes up into 15-minute increments where we'll do some physical training. We'll go for a swim. We'll do some calisthenics. We'll review skills on the beach, whether it's water rescues, whether it's backboarding. Then we'll also do what we call some book work, where we'll go over some internal policies, radio policy, for example, incident reports, field reports, stuff like that. By 12 o'clock, they're assigned to their beach, and they're with the supervisor. So our philosophy, like I said at Presque Isle, is prevention. No two guards are ever alone, especially a first-year guard. They're always with a supervisor or a seasoned lifeguard who's been there 3, 4, 5 summers.
That's fantastic. This is so good. I was thinking too, besides the pay, this is so good for your resume for future jobs. Just shows,
Absolutely.
How dedicated you are, and again, how responsible you are, and you can be, charged with a really heavy, responsibility of people's safety, day in and day out.
Anybody that applies, they truly are applying for a state position. Upon hire, they will be put into the state system, where if, let's say they go on, they guard with us for 4 or 5 summers and they graduate college, that time that they earned in the state, if they get a job with the state in another area or department, that can all be applied to, that time worked can be applied to the future with a different state agency.
That's incredible. So let's talk about orientation. You just said how they're not left alone, so it's not like you need to, your first day on the job, I'm going to panic, here I am dealing with this situation.
Sure.
So again, you're with somebody, but let's talk about orientation.
So we have a 2-week orientation. for new hires, and it's broken up into a couple parts. We spend 40 hours of that orientation training them to be lifeguards. If an applicant is not currently lifeguard certified, that is okay. We are a training facility. We follow USLA, which is United States Lifeguarding Association. We'll put them through that course. So they will come out certified in lifeguarding, CPR, O2, AED. The second 40 hours of that 80-hour week, or that 80-hour orientation, they learn about the park history. They learn about park landmarks. They learn where the lighthouses are located on the park. They learn about every beach and hazards. What where like the lagoons are, and because they get questions as far as what's a good hiking trail. They learn about the Tom Ridge Center and all the educational programs that go on up there, because there's those times where the day starts off beautifully and there's that family and clouds roll in, it starts to rain. Mom and dad want to know where to take the kids while the storm blows through off of Lake Erie. We educate the public and say, just go up to the Tom Ridge Center. There's lots for the kids to do up there. So they'll learn everything they need to know in that orientation. And like I said, we will not throw them out to the wolves right off the bat. We will put them with our seasoned people, with our supervisors. A lot of the job is on-the-job training. Just takes time and experience.
And I wanted to ask, when you're a visitor onto Presque Isle State Park, are you allowed to swim at any unmanned beaches, or do you always, when you're finding your spot, are you required to swim at guarded beaches?
Yes, so the only swimming that can occur on Presque Isle is on a guarded beach, but inside the designated swim area. Like I had said earlier, the conditions can change hour by hour. There's days where we set up and, at Beach 8, for example, we'll have 8 chairs open, but by 3, 4 in the afternoon, the wind picks up, we have a current, we'll have to condense that for the public safety. So you'll see lifeguard chairs on the beach when you come out of the parking lots, but you want to make sure that you set up between the 2 cones. There'll be a cone on each side with a flag. The color of the flag will determine the conditions. So a green flag, it's basically like a stoplight. Green is go, yellow is use caution, red is close. So, and they're 12-foot poles, and they're very easy to see, but you want to make sure that you're swimming in between those two poles, but you're not allowed out past the designated markers that are set.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for that. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was the Presque Isle Lifeguard Association. How can past guards apply to support Presque Isle State Park?
So there is the Presque Isle Lifeguard Association, also referred to as PILA. That was founded in 1988, and it's a group of former guards that have developed the organization. It's a committee of individuals that they raise money. They do education for the current guards. They buy safety equipment, that type of thing. If anybody wants to join that group or make a donation, they can just give us a call and we will certainly point them in the right direction.
Wonderful. Steve, thank you so much for being here today. Is there anything you want to mention? I do see that there's a scholarship available through PILA. Is there anything you wanted to mention that we didn't touch on already?
So there is 2 things, yes, if I can. There is a scholarship which PILA, Presque Isle Lifeguard Association, does, and that's only for the Presque Isle lifeguards. This year there'll be one $500 scholarship for one individual to earn, and then there'll be 4 $250 scholarships, and there are some requirements for those, but that is another thing that PILA does for us. The other thing that we Presque Isle lifeguards have, we have a very good partnership with Allegheny Health Network, AHN. They've done a really good job the last several years providing some additional training for the guards. They'll bring someone up from the Burns Center in Pittsburgh. They'll help, they'll bring the mannequins and help with childbirth demonstrations. They bring up mannequins and they do high intensity CPR. They'll bring in a dermatologist so they can educate the guards on the importance of sunscreen and seeking shade while on the job. They've really stepped up and do a lot for the guards in really giving these young adults some high quality education that they can go and apply to their daily duties.
That's fantastic. Steve, thank you so much. I love all the information you shared with us today. I want to thank you for coming on as
Yes, thank
always
you.
and informing our viewers of what you have available.
Yes, if there's anybody, like I said, even remotely interested, reach out to us. We'll be happy to talk with anybody and see what we can make happen.
That sounds great. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Viewers, again, we learned about this really awesome opportunity, www.employment.pa.gov. And again, being a Presque Isle lifeguard is, again, such an honor, but a rewarding, responsible job that, again, pays really well and is a great addition to your resume. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to Steve today. And I want to thank you for tuning into the Millcreek Government Channel. Until next time, see you later.